Hi everyone, this is Nadina again. Today I'm going to talk about the Ethereum merge. There's a lot of news about it, a lot of YouTube videos about it, whether it's more secure, less secure, if Ethereum is even dead, or if it's gonna be taking off like insane. So there is lots of contradictory information out there, and I just wanted to give my opinion on it, or better, like trying to give a very objective overview of what's happening when the merge is happening on, I think, currently scheduled September 19th, but it might not be quite clear, so that's going to be in about 2 weeks. So Ethereum will move from proof of work to proof of stake. So to understand how those are different, just briefly, proof of work is when there are network nodes, so-called miners, that solve a computer puzzle to propose a new block that contains a certain number of transactions. Through this computational puzzle they solve, they essentially makes it very hard to tamper with the network integrity, because you would have to really overpower always the rest of all the other nodes to continue to build the chain with your false transactions. So it's very hard to tamper with that concept. So it's considered as quite secure. The proof of stake, on the other hand, works differently. So you don't have a computational puzzle to propose a block. You actually have validators that are just in the game by providing funds. So currently that's 32 Ether they need to stake, and so they can be randomly selected for each block to propose it, and then the rest of the validators validate it. So it's there is no computation involved. And so it can be that if you hold 51% of the staked funds, that you can basically be malicious and do double spending or false transactions and so on. But when you go to the Ethereum site, they clearly state that they have taken precautions for such a problem. So first of all, you need a lot of money to hold 51% of the staked Ethereum. It's billions of dollars worth of Ethereum. And then also there is something implemented that's called slashing, which means that if some malicious activity is detected by a validator, the network, all the other validators can come to an agreement to basically burn some of the staked ether of that malicious validator. So they can essentially punish a malicious actor, and so they have some fail-safes for that case. When you look at the Ethereum website, they even claim that proof of stake is more secure than the proof of work. I'm not quite sure if you could really say that. What they say is essentially they have, in case of a problem with a validator that acts maliciously, there are ways of basically prevent it or act on it. While in proof of work, it's just essentially very hard to even be malicious in that sense, because you just need so much computational power to even make it happen. But then there is not really, if it happens, you can't really do anything about it. So I think that's what kind of the difference between the two is. So I'm not sure which one you can really consider as more secure. But they have both their advantages and disadvantages, obviously. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think? Which one is more secure? So yeah, but what then comes into play, moving to proof of stake, as I said, you have the problem that you can have these validators that have a huge amount of the staked ether. For example, Lido Finance, which is a staking pool, holds about 33% of the share of the entire staked ether share. So they have a lot of power in that sense. And also Coinbase and Kraken, they each hold 8% of the entire amount staked. And so concerns come up about centralization. So maybe those entities that have like 33%, like Lido Finance having 33% of the staked ether, doesn't want to act maliciously. It would hurt their business, obviously. But there are other concerns coming up for this centralized way. For example, a few months ago, there has been this sanctioning of Tornado Cash, which was a platform that anonymized transactions. Because there was a lot of money laundering activity going on, the US government sanctioned the platform and basically prohibited any transactions or interaction with that platform. And so people have brought up the concern that when sanctioning like this happens, could the government force companies like Lido Finance, Coinbase, or Kraken to sanction certain addresses, which would really harm the thought of decentralization and non-censorship that the blockchain provides, or the mission of the blockchain, essentially. So some people even say it's the end of Ethereum because of this reason. I doubt that that's really gonna be a huge problem, because first of all, the US government is not the world, but Ethereum is a global platform. So just because the US government wants to sanction certain addresses, that doesn't mean that all the validators would actually work with them. And obviously you have these US-based companies that hold a very big share of the staked ether. But with moving to proof of stake, you will also have more and more validators participating in the staking business, and so they will have to give up some of their shares. It will just happen that way. I think it's just because right now Lido Finance is 33% of the share, doesn't mean it will in the future. And so we will see how that goes. And then the other thought is that also the US government might finally realize that maybe working against the decentralized way of the blockchain is maybe not something they should fight, but maybe support. Lots of other countries are very favorable. There are blockchains coming from certain countries, government-funded adoption of crypto for their currencies and so on. And the US government will realize eventually that if they continue to just basically work against the trend, that they will just be left behind. For example, sanctioning a platform like Tornado Cash, it's like sanctioning emails because there is too much spam or too much phishing emails. And you can't just shut down something just because there is some like criminal activity on it. It doesn't mean that all the users of Tornado Cash are actually money laundering. There are lots of other reasons why people want to be anonymous and want to hide their financial activities. And so I think the US government eventually has to come into terms that cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology is something that they rather support than work against, because otherwise they will just be basically overpowered by all the other countries that go with the trend and support it in their countries. So yeah, what else? So yeah, what happens with all the miners that are currently mining Ethereum? So obviously, yeah, they can't keep mining. There might be just some stubborn miners that keep the old chain running, but it's unlikely they will have much support, and likely lots of application will just go with the new Ethereum 2.0 because they want to keep the users. So why should they stick with the proof of work? But I mean, there are other options for the miners. They can move to other mineable chains like Bitcoin, Ravencoin, WorldCoin, Monero, and probably these chains will see quite an increase in hashing power once the merge happens. And so it will be interesting to see what this does to the native coins of these chains, how the price of these coins will change, it will also be interesting to see what happens with Ethereum. But overall, I'm sure Ethereum will persist. It's almost 60% of all the total value locked of crypto is in Ethereum, and all the development happens on Ethereum. You have all these additional also Ethereum compatible chains like Polygon and so on that are also very popular. So I don't think Ethereum is going to go away because of the merge, but what you need to know, it won't change anything to the transaction speed. It won't change anything to the transaction fees. So that's, I think, sometimes a little misconception. It will stay completely the same. The only thing that the merge is really to move from proof of work to proof of stake. So yeah, that's it for today. Let me know what you think about it, and if you're looking forward to the merge or not, what you think will be better or what will happen. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. If you like this video, give me a like and subscribe if you want to hear more. So hope to see you again. Have a good evening. Bye.